Good evening and welcome to the October 6th City Council meeting. If you'd please stand, Councilman, or Mayor Pro Tem rather, Tom Howie's going to lead us in the flag salute. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and you may be seated. We have a very special presentation this evening. Irene, I'd like to call you up, please. We're going to be honoring Irene Hensley. I'm going to read this proclamation. Whereas Irene Hensley has proudly served the Chino community through numerous capacities throughout her career. Irene began serving her community by working for the City of Chino Parks and Recreation Department in the early 1970s, teaching cake decorating classes, conducting city events, and running city youth programs. And whereas, in drawing from her passion to bake, Irene opened her own business named Chino Cake and Candy in 1979. After successfully running her business for over 20 years, Irene began working at Don Lugo High School in 2001 as an instructional aide for students with special needs. While also serving Don Lugo High School students, Irene also served as a Community Services Commission for the City of Chino from 2002 to 2008. And whereas after her departure from the Chino Community Services Commission, Irene served as a Don Lugo High School class advisor for the Don Lugo High School graduating class of 2009 and 2013. Whereas since 2012, Irene has also served as an assistant cheerleading coach for Don Lugo High School. And whereas in August 2020, Irene Hensley decided to retire after numerous years of volunteerism and dedicated service to the Chino community and Don Lugo High School. Now, therefore, I, Eunice Emiloa, Mayor of the City of Chino, do hereby proclaim and recognize the City of Chino's admiration and thankfulness to Irene Hensley for her years of tremendous service to the Chino community and Don Lugo High School, and wish her and her family all the best as she moves into this next chapter in her life, adopted this 6th day of October 2020. Yay. Irene is sometimes known as Grandma at Don Lugo High School, and it's been told that you actually bleed brown and gold.
Oh, I do.
She does. She does.
I have a tattoo on this foot that says Don Lugo.
Oh, my goodness sakes. Irene, we had to bring you here this evening and honor you because you've meant so much to the community. You've done so much for kids, especially the special needs kids. Irene brainwashes these children so that she knows the name of the mayor and I think the chief of police. Mm-hmm. And these kids know, I mean, I was in, where was I that one time? Burlington Coat Factory. And across the building, I hear, "There's the mayor." And I went, what in the world? What was it? It was Irene and some of her students. And of course, you know, they point me out and they have to come over and they get hugs and everything. So
they were so excited to meet you.
I'd like you to say a few words, but I'd like you to bring your family in. And I know, you know, this is very difficult because this is a very special lady and this is a very special recognition. We want to honor social distancing and with masks, but there's limits when it comes to special things. So I'd like Irene's family to come up, please. Come on up.
This is not all of them, but it's most of them. And I was so blessed to be able to raise my family in the city of Chino raised my kids, my grandkids, and now my great-grandkids. And I am so blessed. And I will still be involved in Chino until the day they take me out. Anybody that knows me would laugh if I said I was speechless, and I am speechless. This is very overwhelming. But thank you, everybody. Well, this is my son, Scott, his wife, Jennifer, my daughter, Tisha, my daughter, Shelley, my daughter-in-law, Jackie, my son, Rocky, my grandson, Derek, my granddaughter, Gina, my great-grandson with his papa, my son-in-law, Eddie, my grandson-in-law, Stephen, and the baby. Oh, and the baby. He's 3 months old. And this is a big part of them.
Well, Irene, again, it's my pleasure to
Thank
recognize you with this proclamation.
Thank you.
And again, thank you for everything you've done for our community and the kids and the parents and, you know, and your pink hair. I love your pink hair. You always see Irene with her colors.
Well, there's a story to that, too. I did it in honor of one of our secretaries that passed, and she had her hair lavender at the last. So I did it for a year in her memory, and then I took it out, and all the kids at school were like, what? Okay, so I put it back. So now I just keep it.
Well, it's very becoming.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
And you
Eunice.
better stay involved.
I will.
Because you mean a
I will.
lot to this community.
I will be here forever.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank
and thank
you.
you all for coming down.
Very good. Good job.
Okay, next we have a presentation from West Valley Mosquito Vector and Control District.
All right, well, thank you, Mayor and City Council members. We just wanted to give all of our cities an update as to what was going on with West Nile virus and it's kind of the state of mosquitoes in our area. Thankfully, West Nile virus has been very low in our area this year. We have had some cases in Chino. These are from mosquito samples that we've collected, no human cases. And they were kind of near the Mountain Avenue, Satterfield Way, Oaks and Schaefer area. And what's been nice is they've been very localized. Normally what we see is West Nile virus popping up in all of our cities all across, but this year we've only had a few cases that have been very centralized. And last week we didn't detect any West Nile virus in any of the samples that we've collected. So good news there. But what we are seeing quite a bit this year are the Aedes mosquitoes. Sure, everyone's going to raise their hand if I say, have you been bitten by a mosquito this year? Has it been below the knees, above the ankles? This is very characteristic of this invasive species that we've seen come in over the last few years in our area. That's the Aedes albopictus and the Aedes aegypti mosquitoes. These are different than our native species. I say they have come in. They've been dealing with them for about 9 years in the LA area, and they've really become endemic throughout most of Southern California and even getting into parts of Northern California now. They're very, very aggressive biters. They bite during the daytime and the evening time, which is different from our native species, and they like to bite and sip. So the one mosquito will bite, fly away, come back, bite again, fly away, come back and bite again. So even if you don't have very many mosquitoes in your yard, you're going to get bit many, many times. So what we're seeing really this year and sort of the trend for these mosquitoes is they do tend to peak in the August through October time of year. And then as the photo period goes down, as our nighttime temperatures start to get into the 50s, we're going to see a reduction in these mosquitoes and the mosquito activity. So let's all hope for cooler weather here very, very soon. And we've had a huge increase in calls. We believe that, due to the pandemic, the stay-at-home orders, people are spending a lot more time indoors. They're going outdoors to their own backyards. They're getting into the relative proximity of these mosquitoes. And we're just seeing our calls go through the roof. These numbers here, in 2019 for the city of Chino, we had 280 SRs, service requests, throughout the entire year. For August, we had 280 SRs in the city of Chino. So I say we, even though we're seeing, a lot of these mosquitoes coming in, a lot of biting activity. We will get to you as soon as we can. We've just been really, really hammered the last few months, but we will come out. We will help you identify where these mosquitoes are coming from. So these are common breeding sources for these mosquitoes. They're unlike our native species that like things like swimming pools and larger bodies of water. These mosquitoes really tend towards small containers, especially man-made containers. These little fountains that we have in our backyards, bird baths, all the little miscellaneous flower pots and things are all notorious for breeding these mosquitoes. And they're a little different from our natives too, is they like to lay their eggs singly and above the water line of these particular containers. So instead of like our natives that will lay one large batch of eggs in a pool of water, these will sprinkle their eggs all throughout your backyard, and those eggs can be viable for months. So even though you see a reduction in adults, you think they're all gone. As soon as we have a rain event, or as soon as water touches those eggs, they activate and hatch, and you can get a reinfestation. And this is some of the places that our technicians have been finding them this year. Again, just to reiterate how good these things are at finding water sources. There's all these little forgotten pots in areas. This was a working fountain down in that middle area that looks like concrete, but the fountain had a dead spot in it, and that water was still in that dead spot, and they were actually using that area to breed. And the top large portion there is a portable basketball hoop, which I just think is absolutely incredible that these mosquitoes were able to find that area, breed in it, and pretty incredible that our technicians were able to find it too. But yeah, they dumped it out and they found actual breeding inside of that portable basketball hoop. So any kind of standing water, even as small as a capful, is enough for these mosquitoes to start breeding and start becoming a problem in your yard. So personal protection this year is vital because we're seeing very low counts of these mosquitoes, but because of their aggressive biting behavior, we really, really are pushing the use of repellents. Anytime you're going outdoors, get something with DEET, picaridin, IR 3535, oil of lemon eucalyptus, something that's CDC recommended and EPA approved. These are all known to work the best and be the longest lasting. And again, look for any sources of standing water. No matter how small, no matter how insignificant you think it might be, dump it scrub it so you can remove any eggs that might be attached to the sides, and make sure you turn it over so it doesn't get water back in it. And you can follow us on social media and on our website. We update weekly as to where we're finding West Nile virus, what's going on with the mosquitoes in our area. And of course, we do encourage everyone to call us or visit our website to create a service request, and we can come out and help you find those sources, get rid of those sources, and hopefully give you some reprieve from these darn Aedes this year.
Brian, I do have a question, and that is, you mentioned that the eggs can be throughout your yard, and then once they get wet, they're viable again. How do you kill the eggs then? Even if you scrub out the vessel and dump it out and clean, how do you kill the eggs so that they're not viable?
Yeah, as long as the eggs aren't in something that there is going to be holding water, so like if you were to scrub out a container and dump it out onto the grass, then those eggs will die. But if you don't scrub it out and those eggs are stuck on the container and it fills back up with water again, then those eggs have a viable place to hatch and become.
So they have to be submerged before they can rehatch.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but scrubbing those things will at least dislodge the eggs, and then dumping it out into the grass, onto the concrete, will kill them.
Okay.
So
there isn't any additive like a drop of bleach or anything that you can add to, say, like I noticed I was at Home Depot yesterday, and they have pots for plants that have a reservoir underneath. And of course, the selling point is so you don't have to keep watering them because the water's there all the time so the plant can uptake the water. Well, I'm assuming that would be a breeding vessel then.
yeah, those are one of the sort of banes of vector control, I think, is when those pots started to come out. They are very good for that purpose, but unfortunately, they hold a lot of organic material and water, and most of them have a little bit of a hole or something in there, and it's a perfect nursery for mosquitoes to lay their eggs in.
So there isn't anything like if you have a sump pump, and of course there's always a little bit of water in it, and it's down, you can't get to it to clean it out. Can you put a bit of bleach or anything that would help?
Bleach will not work in the long term. It may kill off some of the bacteria and algae that the mosquitoes are feeding on, but the amount that you'd have to put in to actually kill the larva would make that water toxic.
Oh, what about dunks?
Dunks, yeah, I was gonna say there are some commercially available larvicides from Home Depot or other home improvement stores. They're mosquito dunks, or they even have some now that are, I think they call them DT tablets, that work very well. They're very similar to the insecticides and the larvicides that we use. But again, if folks want us to come out, we can also treat some of those areas, like the sump pumps and things that may hold some standing water. We can treat that, give them some ideas on how to maybe permanently keep that from becoming a breeding source.
Okay.
But yeah, some of the commercially available things are good, especially for things like if you're holding rainwater. The dunks work very well. You can put those tablets in there, and it will help reduce the mosquito breeding for about 30 days.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Any questions from council members? Okay, well, thank you for being here this evening. And I think we all have the same complaints about these little ankle biters, and boy, those bites itch. They're very itchy.
And unfortunately, I think some of that has to do with probably their novelty to our environment and our novel response to those mosquitoes. It's kind of a new cocktail for us to be bitten by. And I think our bodies tend to kind of overreact to those. We may see that go down over years. But I think right now we're just in that kind of perfect storm where everyone's stuck at home. The populations are getting very widespread of these Aedes mosquitoes, and everyone's coming into contact with them.
Yeah, it's a problem. Well, thank you very much.
2020 has been an interesting year all around.
Yeah. We'll be glad when 2020 is over.
Well, thank you all very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Brian. Okay, I'd like to ask our Attorney Galante to report out of closed session that was held prior to the council meeting starting.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council and audience. The City Council met in closed session and discussed the following items as described in more detail on the closed session agenda. First item is conference with legal counsel, existing litigation. The case of Monte Vista Water District and City of Chino versus Dow Chemical Company and additional parties was discussed with Attorney Todd Robbins on the phone. The City Council received an update to the status of that litigation, and no further reportable action was taken. As previously announced, the Council did not hold any discussion on the second item on the agenda, the conference with real property negotiators, so no report there. And finally, the City Council held a discussion on the last item on the agenda, Public Employee Performance Evaluation, title City Manager. City Council held a discussion, and no further reportable action was taken. That concludes the report out of closed session.
Okay, thank you, Fred. And City Manager Ballantyne, do we have any additions or revisions to the calendar this evening?
Staff has no proposed changes to the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, next under public announcements. First, I'd like to point out that we will be recognizing 2 additional proclamations that are listed under the consent calendar. To begin, the city is proclaiming October 2020 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Due to many current stressors, such as COVID-19, families are being confined to their homes, unemployment on the rise, at homeschooling, and now more than ever, domestic violence has been on the rise. In our city, the police department has compared the 6-month period between March and August from 2019 and 2020 and found that domestic violence reports increased by 24% in 2020. I want to remind the public to ask for help if you are in need. We have counseling services available through Human Services at a very low fee. Please call 909-334-3259. We also have anger management classes and our Choices Batterers Treatment, court-mandated programs offered through the same phone number. For shelter and safety concerns, contact the House of Ruth at 909-623-4364. If you or your children are in imminent danger due to domestic violence in your home, please call 911. Next, we're also proclaiming October 2020 as Community Planning Month in the City of Chino. Community planning is undeniably an important aspect to municipal operations. Among others, it lays out housing, business, and infrastructure plans that have large implications now and for our posterity. By proclaiming October 2020 as Community Planning Month, we recognize the important work of our planning division and planning commissioners, the important work that they perform daily while also promoting sound planning principles that will guide us as we continue to improve and build upon our great community. Next, while they're not in the audience tonight, I'd like to recognize Twin Nguyen of 3626 Ardvitson Court for earning the October 2020 Mayor's Beautification Award. Your neighbor? Yeah. Staff will show their home on the monitor. It's because of your hard work that Chino can continue to be a great place to live, work, and play. Congratulations and thank you for everything that you do. Lastly, I want to give an early reminder that on Halloween, Saturday, October 31st, the City of Chino will be holding our annual Halloween Spooktacular at Ruben S. Ayala Park, located at 14225 Central Avenue from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Please note that due to COVID-19, this year's event will have to be conducted much differently than in the past years. Instead of having a traditional in-person event, we will be conducting this year's Spooktacular as a drive-through. This means all events will be tailored to activities that can safely be performed in your vehicle to ensure social distancing. These activities include drive-through trunk-or-treating, a scavenger hunt, a spooky tunnel, and a car decorating contest. We ask that no one exit their vehicles while attending the event and that all participants wear face coverings when their car window is down. Additionally, we ask that you please register for the specific time frame, which is available online by visiting www.cityofchino.org/Halloween. Please note that registration for Chino residents is now available. Non-Chino residents may begin registering on October 12th at 8 o'clock a.m. Finally, when entering the staging area for the event, we ask that you please enter the event heading south on Oaks Avenue from Edison Avenue, continue right onto College Park Avenue. Here, you will see a City of Chino Community Services staff member directing you to the right location. For all questions, please call 909-334-3258 or email communityservices@cityofchino.org. Next on the agenda is public communication, and this is the time and the place for the general public to speak about items that are not listed elsewhere on the agenda. We cannot take action on an item that's not agendized, but we'd be happy to hear your concerns. Our first written request to speak is Mr. John Mata of Calvary Chapel, Chino Valley. Now, he's going to lead us in an invocation. I invite anyone who would like to join us to please stand.
Madam Mayor, thank you for this honor. Mr. Galante, Mr. Ballantyne, and the rest of the council members, on behalf of Calvary Chapel, Chino Valley, and Pastor David Rosales, thank you for this privilege to pray before this council meeting. Let's pray. Father, we come to you in the name of Jesus. We thank you for the gift of life and the opportunity to serve the people of the city of Chino. Help us to act with character and conviction. Help us to listen with understanding and goodwill. Help us to speak with love and grace. Give us a spirit of service. Remind us that we are stewards of your authority. Guide us to be the leaders of that your people need. Help us see the community and dignity of those in this city and to treat all persons with the reverence your creation deserves. Continue to guide our mayor with wisdom and discernment. Guide our city manager, our city attorney, and all our council members and all the leadership you've entrusted to oversee and lead this city. Please guide and protect all law enforcement officers, firefighters, and our first responders. Protect them as they put their lives on the line for this beautiful city. Guide our chief of police and our fire chief in their duty to serve and protect our city. And Father, I ask that you would watch over all the families that are mentioned here. And finally, Father, renew us in the strength of your presence and the joy of helping to build a community worthy of all human persons. And we ask this in your confident and goodness. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Okay, next written request to speak is Zeb Wellborn from the Chino Valley Chamber. Zeb?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I just wanted to kind of give a brief update on what we've been doing at the Chamber and also talk about our upcoming candidate forums. So I guess I'll start with the candidate forums. We're doing the Chino Valley Unified School District School Board Forum. So the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce is hosting that. We are hosting that on Thursday. It's going to be from 7 to 8:30. We're going to do it via Zoom. So we shared that link out through our email system and on our social media channels and on our website. So if anybody would like to watch the school board candidate forum, it will be on Zoom. We're also going to try to share it live on Facebook as well, so you can watch it on either place. There's only a limit of 100 people on the Zoom, so we'll also be posting it on Facebook Live. We are doing the Chino City Council candidate forum. That candidate forum is going to be on Monday, October the 12th. That one's going to be from 6:30 to 8:30. We are going to be practicing social distancing and making sure that we're doing it responsibly, so that we're not going to have the public that is going to be there, but we all be interviewing the candidates. And from my understanding is it is going to be posted not immediately live, but it will be posted shortly thereafter. So those are what we're looking forward to when we do our Chino candidate forums. Our whole intention is to make sure we have informed public, making sure that they understand the positions of our candidates that are running for city council so that they can make informed decisions when they vote. So that we feel that that's very important. From the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce, we want to make sure that we do have informed citizens and that our businesses in particular want to make sure that they're informed as well. So those are the two things that are coming up. So I highly encourage those in our community to at least take a look at those candidate forums. Make sure you know where your candidates stand on the issues that are important to you. We did get our questions from the community at large. So we asked for the community to send in questions. So we have already gathered those questions. We've got them together. We have a legislative action committee, which has put those together, which is made up of business owners in town. So that's the candidate forum side. We just hosted a great golf tournament. It was a different kind of golf tournament than what we're used to, but it was very nice to get together again with folks in our chamber and with businesses and our community at large. So we want to thank those that participated in our golf tournament. We thought it went really well. We did it we did it tea time, so it wasn't kind of congregating people together just like you would normally go to a golf course, and we thought it went really well under the circumstances. The next thing we have planned is a business expo. Again, one of those challenges where we don't want to have, normally you have a business expo and we have tons of people coming together, and so we want to be responsible in that effect. So we're trying to do a virtual business expo. So throughout the month of November, we're going to be highlighting businesses in Chino and Chino Hills that sign up to participate. So if you're a business in Chino or Chino Hills, we are going to really advocate, or we're going to really promote your businesses throughout the month of November through a variety of ways, which would be through our chamber outlets, social media, emails. We'll do some advertising as well through Facebook and Google, making sure that our businesses are getting their name out there in the community and with each other. With that, I think those are the things that we have coming up for the chamber. I just want to thank you for the time, and I appreciate everything you all do.
Thank you very much, Zeb. Those are the only written requests I have to speak. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on any item that's not on the agenda? Okay, seeing none. Angela, have we gotten any written requests? No? Okay, then we will move on to our consent calendar. Do any council members wish to have any items pulled? No. Okay, seeing none, then I would entertain a motion. It's a motion from Councilman Lucio, second from Mayor Pro Tem Howie. And the consent calendar passes unanimously. Under new business, item number 11, approval of increased par amount of bonds for Community Facilities District number 2019-1. This item is to adopt Resolution 2020-063 of the City Council of the City of Chino, acting as the legislative body of Community Facilities District number 2019-1, also called the Landings, of the City of Chino, amending Resolution 2020-058 adopted on September 15th, 2020, ratifying sale of its 2020 special tax bonds in an aggregate principal amount of $10,165,000 pursuant to the bond purchase agreement. Our staff report this evening will be provided by our Director of Finance, Mr. Rob Burns.
That was a mouthful, huh?
Uh-huh. You can shorten these a little bit, you know.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. On September 15th, I came before you seeking approval of the bond documents for 2019-1, which is the landing projects by Lennar in the preserve. Amongst those documents was a resolution approving an authorization to issue up to $10 million in bonds. The $10 million was arrived at by what we thought we were going to issue, which was $9.1 million, and then a buffer of $900,000 in case the market turned in our favor and we were able to issue more than the 9.1 that we had projected. Well, the market did better than we expected, and we actually issued $10,165,000 of bonds, thus exceeding the authorization that we'd received from you. So we're here tonight to get an updated authorization, allowing us to finalize the sale process and issue $10,165,000 in bonds. Now, these act much like a mortgage, whereas if your payment is fixed, if the interest rate goes down, then you can borrow more money and afford a more expensive home. So no one in the preserve in this project will be paying any more in taxes than they otherwise would have. This just gives more proceeds to the developer to pay for the infrastructure at the project. And with that, I just ask you to approve the resolution to allow us to finalize the deal at $10,165,000.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of staff? No? Are there any members of the audience that have any questions or have any comments? Okay, seeing none, then I would entertain a motion. Motion from Councilman Rodriguez, second from Mayor Pro Tem Howie, and the item passes unanimously. Next on the agenda is Mayor and Council reports. Actually, I have a very short report this evening because I forgot my notes at home. So I attended tons of meetings, especially when it came to water issues. And other than that, it's been really hot. And I hope everyone has stayed safe because this temperature is ridiculous. I'll just make up for it next meeting. Mayor Pro Tem Howie, you have item number 12.
Yeah, but before that, that might be the shortest report you've had since election night.
All right, nip it. Just,
All I have tonight is one item here, and it's a community support contribution. I'm asking the council to approve a support contribution to the Seroptimus International, the Chino Valley, Rancho del Chino Rotary Club, and the Plains of Fame Museum. That concludes my report.
okay, then we would entertain a motion. It's been moved by Councilman Rodriguez and seconded by Councilman Lucio. And your item passes unanimously. Rest of your report?
That was my report. Short.
Oh,
See?
okay. You're short too. Councilman Hargrove.
Okay, I didn't forget my notes, I just don't have any notes. But other than we all attended the in and out ceremony distribution facility out there. It was hot as all get out. Boy, it was a rough day, and they happened to set it for like right at noon, but maybe there was air conditioning in that helicopter. So, but it was a nice event. I will say that generally, as I've attended some of these over the past couple of years, this family, I'll call it, they really are family-oriented and Christian-based organization, and I didn't get anything but good vibes out of that whole situation out there, that they intended on serving employees, community, as they call associates and stores and all those things that make In-N-Out what it is. I mean, it's, you know as well as I do, you can't drive by any time during the day and not see a line out at In-N-Out. So I'm so happy they came here to the city of Chino and will make us proud and make them proud. And so that was one of the ceremonies that I did attend. I also, Irene Hensley, I just wanted to say, I know they've left now, but what a special lady. I mean, I've came to know her over times, sports, and have coached her grandkids in sports, and she certainly does bleed brown and gold. But you know, when she's at an event with kids in Chino, if it's kids in Chino, it just matters that they're Chino kids. It doesn't matter where they come from or what they've done or what they're doing. She just gives 100% support, and that's why I think the kids just love her to death. And community members, I mean, I've seen them line up just to give her hugs at sporting events. So she's well deserving of anything that she obtains, and I'm glad that she'll just be full-time community now. On a personal note, my wife Terry retired as of last Friday. Not all the years in that I would like to have seen her put into her retirement. We've got about 30 years, nearing 30 years of marriage, be 29 next month, but I'm not sure that we'll be married that long. I don't know how much longer we can be married and living in the same house at the same time all day long. So she's gonna have to get a hobby or something, because
She's going to have a lot of honeydews for you to do.
she's already busy, trust me. We have our second grandson that's due to be born in end of October. So she's already said I went from full-time secretary at Rhodes Elementary to full-time grandma and for Lincoln. So he spends a lot of time at our house now, nice and early mornings. My daughter loves to drop him off some of my best sleeping hours. So yeah, so congratulations to her on that. And she spent a memorable time. They had a drive-by parade for her in retirement at Rhodes, and it was just amazing. About 50 cars lined up, and I've never seen so many fresh flowers and Starbucks cards and eatery cards and all those things. So, you know, we're socking them right back into the community, and appreciate all those that attended and came out in support of her and her. She actually did 17 years there at Rhodes Elementary, 5 of them as the PFA president, and then she worked 12 as the secretary there. So just a memorable time there at that school, the times that she'll remember forever. So thanks for her serving her community for that too. And that concludes my report.
Well, it just reflects how well she was thought of.
Yeah, absolutely. It's incredible. Amazing.
Very good. Well, congratulations to Terry. Councilman Lucio.
Yes, mine's going to be short also. I attended the community service meeting on the 28th. I also attended the groundbreaking at the In-N-Out on the 29th. It was nice to see it seemed like all their executives seemed to be pretty young. So either they're pretty young or I'm just getting old. But either way, they looked younger than I was. So it was good to see that, you know, in her corporation, she seems to be pulling from within her the people that start working there, and then slowly they all move up, and they all seem to have a great camaraderie.
Even some from Chino, right? It's Chino High.
Yeah.
That's right. There was somebody. There was actually two. They're from Chino. I think one went to Don Lugo, and the other one went to Chino High. So it was good to see, and they seemed very excited to be part of the city. So obviously we were more than welcoming for them to come here and deliver quality products like they've done for many, many years. And I just wanted to tell Mark and his wife Terry, congratulations, Terry. My daughter Samantha was the first kindergarten class that went from kindergarten all the way to sixth grade and graduated from Rhodes. So I've seen Terry throughout the years, and I'm glad that she was able to retire and enjoy retirement. So let her know that we're definitely going to miss her. And that's all I have for today. Thank you.
Okay. Councilman Rodriguez.
Okay, thank you. Mine is going to be very short, so I'll keep it short. SCAG meeting on October 1st was very interesting because many of the things that we already know is that 57% of renters are paying more than 30% of their income on housing. That's a lot. Since 1984, we have lost about 21% of our farmlands. There's an average of 100 hours being stuck on the freeway or traffic. 78% of the population living in flood hazard areas are minorities. By 2045, 1 in 5 people will be of the age of 65, baby boomers. Yeah, that's quite a bit. And the new thing for mobility will be shared mobility, okay? Meaning carpooling and maybe Teslas and all this, buses, electric cars. So that's that part. And then I have a recommendation for community support.
Okay.
Okay.
That is item number 13.
Yes, 13.
That is approved community support fund contributions to Chino Youth Boxing Foundation,
Yes.
Boy Scout Troop 207, and House of Ruth.
House
Good
of Ruth.
grief, Ruth.
And being that it's Domestic Awareness Month, it's very appropriate
Yeah.
that I wanted
That's
to
a
do
good
that.
organization.
Yeah.
Okay, then
House
I
of Ruth.
would entertain a motion. It's a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Howie, seconded from Councilman Lucio, and the item passes unanimously. Anything else this evening? Mr. Rodriguez?
That's it. Thank you. That concludes my comments.
The In-N-Out groundbreaking was incredible, and that family went through a lot of tragedy during that plane accident when the principals were killed, and the granddaughter then took it over, and I'm really glad that she kept it in the family and didn't go public. Mm-hmm. But she seems very close to the employees, and they really truly care of the communities that they're in, and they really emphasize quality.
Oh, yeah.
On their, not only just their products, but the buildings, the employees. And I don't think I've ever gone to an In-N-Out store where the employees weren't happy and, happy that you're there and happy to serve. And it's just a great organization. So we're lucky to have the facility. Of course, I'm hoping that they build a second In-N-Out restaurant, which we kind of made the hint that it would be nice if they put one in the preserve. So maybe in the new core, commercial core, we'll see another In-N-Out store.
And Eunice, can I make a quick comment?
Sure.
The 200 to 300 jobs they're going to bring into our city?
500.
500 now?
500
Oh.
at that facility.
Wow, okay, increased from what I heard, but
Yeah,
that's
500.
fantastic for jobs for our local citizens. And
Yeah.
that'll be great.
Yeah. City Manager Ballantyne, anything this evening?
Thank you, Mayor. I have no report.
Okay. City Attorney Galante?
Thank you, no report either.
Boy, everybody's short tonight. Chief Simmons isn't here.
Good evening, Mayor. No, he is out of the office attending another event. So I have just a few things to report on his behalf. First, because of the COVID, we are not able to host the annual National Night Out. That is annually on the second Tuesday of October of every year, which would have been tonight. So instead of doing nothing, we're doing this virtually. So we have our crime prevention specialists that are out on ride-alongs with a couple of our officers, and we're posting that on our social media. So it's better than doing nothing. It's obviously, and then hopefully next year, we know how this is very popular with our community. We get to do this next year. The next thing, the month of October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The Chino Police Department is participating in a pink patch project. Members of our department have purchased pink patches that are being worn for the month of October, the ones like what I got here. We're also selling these patches to the public for $10. You can arrange to purchase a pink patch by contacting our crime prevention specialist, supervisor specialist, Tricia Dinkle, and her email is tdinkle@chinopd.org. All of the funds that we raise are being donated to the Loma Linda Cancer Care. And to date, I'm happy to announce we've raised close to $2,500. So that, and we're still have a long ways to go in the month. And then just lastly, Madam Mayor, members of the council, I want to take this opportunity to thank you for your support to public safety, specifically when it comes to giving us the tools and resources related to technology. So I know you guys saw a couple weeks ago, we had an incident and we were able to apprehend a couple subjects trying to steal a vehicle out at the park and ride with the use of our real-time crime center and our crime analyst that was working there. The other piece of technology I want to talk about was our automated license plate recognition readers. We've seen some significant success over the past 2 years now. Since January 1st, we've recovered 113 vehicles and arrested 125 people on various charges. And just another example of how we're using these LPRs is just today we had a residential burglary that just occurred, and a neighbor saw the suspects fleeing in their vehicle. They were able to provide us with the vehicle description and then 2 characters from the license plate. With the use of the LPRs, we're able to run it through the system, get the full license plate, and we currently have detectives that are working this, and obviously we have information based on who the vehicle is registered to and following up on these leads. Fantastic. And if it wasn't for the LPRs, it's a high likelihood this case would have gone unsolved. So I know, Mayor, you were instrumental in us getting these originally. We went up to Claremont and visited their operation to see the benefits of it. So just for all of these reasons, thank you for all of you for your ongoing support. And that concludes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Well, you're welcome. And I'm always so proud of the job that our PD does. I mean, you guys just go over and above, and it always amazes me, the crimes that are solved and the amount of time. I mean, you guys never give up.
And breaking news, it looks like the Pop Warner equipment that was stolen, we've recovered the majority of it this evening.
Oh, fantastic.
So,
fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic.
But again, that's another example.
There's more to come on that, but yes, that's...
Well, and the crime analysts, and I mean, everybody works as such an incredible team, and I just wish the words would get out in the criminal activity, just stay away from Chino.
Well, and that's... This residential burglary, it looks like these subjects are obviously not from Chino. They're not from around here, and they're coming in to prey on our citizens, our community.
Well, they need to get the word out. Just don't even come in town.
Right.
That'd be great.
Any other comments?
Yeah, Captain Mensa, one of my favorite stories was that motorcycle, that was stolen motorcycle in the back of a pickup truck that was driving, and our camera saw the license plate, realized that the motorcycle in the back of a pickup truck was stolen, right? But then you had to wait till the next day. You can finish the story. It wasn't the next day. We were out there waiting, and sure enough, the guy drove by again.
And it drove through. A lot of them, I mean, obviously, if we miss them, if they drive through,
Yeah.
if they're driving through usually the same time of the day, yes, we'll go down there the next day, and you'll see them drive through around the same time, and we've got several that way as well, yes.
So a stolen motorcycle put in the back of a pickup truck.
And we got the hit off the motorcycle.
And we got the hit
on it.
on the motorcycle.
It's just so cool. Yeah. Well, please tell everybody that we're so very proud of you guys.
Thank you, Mayor.
I love what you do.
Thank you. Thank you for your support.
You're welcome. Okay, fire chief's not here. You're up. He is tall.
Really just a word of encouragement. As we mentioned, it's getting hot again. We are into the fall. Temps are staying up. I bring this up because I did spend the last couple weeks up in Northern California, and the fire conditions are what we call the 100-year fires. So things are burning at rates that are unprecedented and unexpected because it doesn't fall in line with the normal weather patterns. So the encouragement is just for the residents to be mindful of any kind of outdoor activities they're participating in that have open flames, whether it be barbecuing or any kind of events that are being utilized with open flames. So with that being said, that's all I have, and just a word of encouragement, go forward and be safe.
How many of your department are involved in the fires up north now?
So it kind of rotates. At one given time, we had probably about 20 people out. Fortunately, we're still able to staff at our same levels locally, but we did have about 20 people out, and what will happen is we'll get 5 back, then we'll get 5 more back, and then 5 more will go out. So just depending on what the activity is, and
Rotating.
we have people that serve in a variety of roles, from safety officer, which is what I am, to division supervisors, to full engine companies. So it just depends on what the needs are. The state is very strained for resources right now, as you probably are aware. But everybody's pitching in and doing good work, and I think just the key for this year is just operate at a safe pace.
Right.
And
Well,
so
and we
can be
pray that all of you stay safe, but it's been horrendous. The fires in the news, watching it, just
Yeah.
heartbreaking.
And so we'll keep our fingers crossed that Southern Cal doesn't get the hit that typically follows the Northern Cal piece. So
Hope not. Thank you very
okay,
much.
You're welcome.
Okay, and with that, we will adjourn to our next regular meeting, which will be held on Tuesday, October 20th at 7 o'clock, with closed session starting at 6 if needed. We are adjourned.